Welcome back to Whitt Acres. If you're just joining us, we have had a 100-foot maple tree fall down in a recent storm. Well, half of it fell down and it crushed my perennial garden. Fell right smack dab on top of it. We got that all cleaned up and the fence taken out, all the debris cleaned out of the garden, so it's all good to go, or so we thought. So I was up in the nursery yesterday planting and heard a big crash. So I came down to check it out and we had a whole new branch fall off the tree. This is the part of the maple that's still standing, and you can see it's pretty much leaning to the left. And then this branch is the one that just fell yesterday. Pretty hefty long branch, and it just missed our arborvitae row at the end there. So it fell perfectly in the best spot that it possibly could fall, all in the open yard, which is pretty nice. So like with the first half that fell, we're gonna have to use the backhoe and chainsaw to get it all out. For the first half, we used the chainsaw and we cut out a bunch of the branches into manageable sizes, and I lifted them out, piled them up, got them all moved out. Had my brother helping me carry some branches and my dad was helping cut. So we got that all cleaned up, and then once we got into big pile, we took the backhoe and we scooped it all up, hauled it up to where we're gonna have the wood chips and piled it up there. All the bigger chunks, any trunk that was probably 12 inches or more in diameter, we stacked up behind the barn so it can season. We have a wood burner, we can use that for firewood once that time comes around. Once it's all seasoned, it'll take about a year. But with this branch, a lot of it can be chipped. Looking at it now, we could probably chip half of it, and the rest is gonna have to be chained up to the backhoe, taken up behind the barn to sit and dry out. But I will be getting a lot of wood chips from this, which is pretty nice because I need wood chips. Always need wood chips when you're building a food forest and putting some mulch around your raised beds and whatnot. But the meaning of this update is to let you know we are going to be felling the rest of the tree because I don't want a storm blowing it down on anything that I want to keep. So last night, after this branch fell and we got that part cleaned up, and we decided to fell the rest of the tree today. So last night I went through and I dug up all my hydrangeas and hollies. You can see them back into their proven winter pots right behind me. It was 4 limelight hydrangeas and 5 Castle Spire hollies. They've been in the ground now for about 2 weeks or 3 weeks. We planted them, so they're not disturbing the roots too much by pulling them out, but still gonna set them back, especially the hydrangeas, because we're going into a real hot weekend right now. It's gonna be up to 90 degrees and they're just not setting roots yet, so I'm gonna have to keep them watered, keep them happy. Plus this maple tree was the shade tree that was supposed to be giving them partial shade during the hottest part of the day. Now it's not going to be there. So hopefully the limelight hydrangeas can take our full sun, which isn't much because we're in zone 6A, southwest PA here. So our sun's not as hot as some other places. I'm sure they'll be okay. But I got all these dug up behind me, and then I took out the fence. After I got all the trees and shrubs dug up, I was looking at it and seeing which direction it's gonna fall, and I took out the fence section that I think we can drop it straight down in between without destroying the rest of the fence. Trying to save as much of this wood as we can. This fence is original to the property, probably since we moved in about 35 years ago. It was all original fencing that was around for the cattle and the animals. But my dad took it all down, oiled it, and stored it so it could be kept. And then whenever we built a new fence, we just went ahead and used it. You can see it's a nice old rustic looking fence, which I like the style of and I'd like to keep. So that's why I pulled all the boards off, so we can try and keep the same look of the fence going all the way down here. So that maple is gonna fall today, and I will bring you back whenever we're cutting it. My brother stopped over yesterday after this large chunk of the tree fell off, And we went ahead and I lifted him up in the loader of the hoe, and he was able to cut off a lot of the lower branches and get that cleaned up so the wind drag wasn't too bad, because I did not want the tree falling on its own before I got all my plants out of the way. We still have a bunch of lilies, daylilies in the way, but we're gonna risk it because daylilies multiply pretty good, and we could probably, they're replaceable. The shrubs and hollies were a little bit harder to replace, but this tree is gonna fall today. So I will bring you back when we're cutting and try and get as much footage as I can of the felling process. We'll see. We're probably all gonna have to be a part of it. So I might try and set up the camera back a little bit and just get a clip of the tree falling. And then we'll show you what damage is done, if any, and try and get it all cleaned up looking good before the next weekly garden tour. All right, we'll see you when it's falling. Alright, you can see the tree is down now, and it fell right where we wanted it to fall. Right behind me, I started putting the fence back up, and I put in all my hollies and hydrangeas back in the ground as soon as I could after we got all the branches cleaned up. So hopefully this hot weekend isn't going to mess with them too much, because some of those hydrangeas already have buds on them, so I want them to be not stunted. Yeah, we got all the branches hauled up there, and everything under 12 inches we shoved through the wood chipper. We actually got it stuck about a half an hour in. Had to take it apart and pull a big log out and then keep going, but it took about 4 hours. We got this whole tree chipped up, and now we're just down to this stump. The trunk we have left is about 7 or 8 feet high now, and you can see I got the fence piled up, and then the 2 posts in the middle there were broken, so I couldn't put them back up yet. We got to re-dig out the holes, but I got my line back in and nothing is dead, which is pretty satisfying. This maple kind of took up 2 weekends of planting worth of planting, so we're a little bit behind. I have a bunch of flowers yet that still need to go out, and a bunch of seeds that need to be succession sown in the vegetable garden, but it had to get done. So it's good to have it down, and I'm not worrying about my hollies and hydrangeas anymore. They can just start growing, and we'll have to start redesigning this front formal area to reshape it, because now we don't have 2 giant maples, we just have the one. So it'll be nice to have something to redesign here, start changing some things up. But that's all for this one. Just wanted to record what was going on with the maple tree and how we got it down and what's been going on. That's all for now. You can find me and Echo on the next one for our next weekly garden tour. Thanks for watching.